Welcome to Evilive, live media commentary show that answers the question, just how close to burning is the best caramel? Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because today we are reviewing the Great British Baking Show Collection 12, Episode 4, Caramel Week, and you look like you had an answer.
Yeah, man. I don't necessarily agree with Paul's assessment that he is the perfect shade of caramel. I
totally disagree. Yeah.
I gotta say, man, it's Allison.
Yeah.
I like have it a little bit bitter, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I feel like the running joke of him being the sort of like caramel skin color would have worked if he was like that dude that was like in all the Triscuit commercials back in the day.
Yeah.
That guy was known for like a golden brown thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, he still looks very white.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever see the sun, and I'm pretty sure if I stood next to him, I would be darker than him.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Hey, Chris. The answer is yes. So it is said. So, initial thoughts about this week? Anything?
Go from bread week to caramel week. They're, like, just trying to fucking give us a heart attack. Although, I will say, this one, I was expecting a lot more sugar work. Sorry, I guess I should probably have the microphone by my face. Not a lot of sugar work, so not as harrowing as it usually is.
And the sugar work that we did see felt sort of like lazy. It wasn't like sugar work.
Yeah, it's like the only person that actually tried really was what the fuck is her name? Was it Jill? It was Jill. Like, she's the only one that really actually did like some sugar work, and even then, it was still just like, I could do that.
Yeah, it was underwhelming, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, it's another week. I don't remember a caramel week in previous seasons.
Yeah, neither do I. I think they're fucking mixing it up. Like, I swear it's usually like sugar week or something, but I don't.
Yeah, caramel's a weird one because caramel's like a bitch. You don't do a whole week based around like a pain in the ass.
I mean, except for today.
Yeah,
or this
except
week.
for when you do stuff like today. It's like the worst. Anyway, so we got 3 challenges. We got 2 judges. We got 2 hosts and a host of talent that's in this. I wasn't surprised by the ending of this, which we'll get to at all. But it is getting to the point where it's good bakers going home now.
Yeah. And it's just, usually it's later on in the season where we start to see this, where it's like you have one mediocre at best week and you're fucked and you've been great the whole time.
Yeah.
So the ending, it was pretty surprising. Not that the person who did go home has been just shit or amazing this whole time, but the person that was up against him to go home, I thought was going home. Yeah. So I was kind of surprised when it was him.
Yeah, that was wild because she kind of shit the bed and everything.
Yeah, like
she's just annoying.
I was gonna say the only thing that saved her was the technical, but we'll get into that.
I think she's annoying as fuck personally, but anyway, we got caramel biscuits. Your choice of biscuit. Just put caramel in it, and we see what happens. And I mean, I saw a lot of these which looked amazing. And you have one tiny little technical error, and it all goes to shit, and it doesn't matter.
Dude, that shit with Georgie, man. I think that's going to be the fucking running joke this season, is she's almost Star Baker, but there's one little thing where Paul's like, I was going to touch it, but now I'm not going to. It's just like my marriage. Don't shower for 3 weeks, and guess what? You're not getting touched. It's fucking stupid.
That's funny. Yeah. I was going to make a priest joke, but they would have touched me no matter what, so never mind. Yours is much better.
That's bullshit.
It's that whole disappearing handshake. It's hilarious. I mean, it's not funny for her, and it's certainly not funny in the context of like what the handshake is supposed to imply, because it's really fucked up to him to do like the whole like thing, like really childish and fucked up. But like I dug it.
I mean, it was funny but frustrating because it was last week she got the fucking pat.
Yeah.
And now this week it's like, just kidding, psych, you kind of suck.
I can't wait to get like the complimentary like anal fingering from Paul. It's got to come up, right? Like it's like the next thing.
I mean, it could be.
I feel like
it might have happened this episode. We don't know.
He licks his finger, flowers it,
maybe
bloop.
that's why everybody passed out last episode.
That's the reason.
I mean, he looks like he's got some fucking mitts on him, so it's like I gotta imagine
it's a lot to take.
Yeah, it's you know it's there.
Right. Yeah, it's what my wife dreams for. She's like, substance, please.
I might actually feel it for once.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Did any of these stick out to you? Like, none of them really. Some stuck out to me as like in a bad way, but not in a good way.
So yes, some of them did. Like Georgie's, those look fucking great. Yes, she had like 2 break.
Yeah.
But those looked amazing, and it was such delicate chocolate work at that.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking impressive.
Each time she was like shaking the chocolate out, I was like, no, wait, just stop. Let it be there. You're like the rigidness. You're going to get rid of the rigidness.
Right? It's like there is a very fine line you got to toe with that. There's a reason I don't fuck with chocolate. Dylan's looked great. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were going on about. Like, oh, they look like stupid little UFOs.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Look like, okay.
And when they ate them, they said they were delicious.
Yeah. It's like, I have been to some pretentious ass restaurants. Like, I'm a fucking chud at best, but I understand fine dining. I appreciate fine dining. That's the kind of shit I could see spending $20 fucking a piece on. So for them to be like, oh, it's good, but it looks stupid. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, his were beautiful.
Yeah, it was like a weird cultural diss. It's like, if they weren't shaped like UFOs, which in sort of like Paul parlance is ridiculous, then I would have given you better marks for it. But because it's something ridiculous, I'm not going to give you, like, what the fuck is that?
I don't understand. Like, the technical prowess this kid showed
every week,
just in that alone, like, those were all perfect. They were identical, especially with that fucking super duper thin twill. That shit was fucking perfect. And for them to shit on that, I was like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Like, as it stands right now, I really see Georgie and Dylan as the final 2 and sort of like a variable for the third. But I feel right now as if those are definitely the final 2.
Yeah, and that worries me because I think they'll probably be the first to go home.
Oh no!
Like before, they'll go home like right before the finale.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, aside from his, I mean, really, Christian's like, I mean,
oh man.
Here's the thing: I'm a fucking sucker for Stroop waffles, but I kind of feel like that was bullshit because he had a fucking waffle maker.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel like that's cheating, but I feel like that's cheating.
Yeah.
And you know, Stroop waffles, yes, they are known for having a caramel center. That's their whole shtick. But like you look at oh, Jesus fucking Christ, I quit. This is the final episode. We're done. But yeah, so it's like they're great. He did great Stroop waffles. But it took him the same amount of time to do those that I arguably could do in my house, having never made them before.
Right.
As everybody else did their shit. It was like,
sweating and still working. He's like done.
Yeah. And then probably the last one that stuck out for me was Samaya's. I got to argue with them. Like, I feel like understanding the flavor palette of hibiscus versus caramel, combining those two, it's like that sounds complex and beautiful to me.
That sounds really complex.
Yeah, and it's like it's a very subtle notes of bitter with that little bit of bitter sweetness from both. Like, that just sounds dope as hell. And then you throw black sesame in it, like, those looked beautiful, and I wanted to decimate them. So those were the standouts for me. Yeah,
those look stunning, and I think we should be celebrating the challenge. You know, like the desire to experiment and put something out there that is wildly against the norm. Because only a few bakers are actually doing that, and the judges always say that that's what they're looking for. And then when they have contestants that do it, they're just like, I don't know, this one note. Blah.
It's just like the Hollywood system. It's like, we want uniqueness, but it has to be like everything else that just came out this last week. And the thing is, like, I understand why she didn't do fantastic or why they didn't see it. Like flavor profiles aside, again, that's a matter of taste. They don't have it. I do. We're not going to split hairs on that. But the fact that hers was essentially a caramel sauce versus like a set caramel, like, that was the challenge. I can understand that, but still, like you said, that's outside of the box as fuck. Like no one else did anything even remotely like that. Minus again, like Dylan's out of the box shit. It was
I
just
wonder
so
if hers
frustrating.
is just a little more challenging. If it's like a cultural palette they're just not quite used to, and so they don't give her the props that Dylan gets for doing the same thing.
I feel like that's it, because it's just like the bun week or bread week where he did the gochujang buns.
Those are great.
Like, I mean, I get it. Like those looked fucking perfect, and I want them.
Yeah.
But it's like that's not really exotic to me. But I also grew up around fucking Koreans, so it's like, it's what it is.
Yeah, saltines are exotic for me.
And a little spicy.
You add salt to them? What? So hot and spicy. What is that? Oh, we call it salt. Ooh. Yeah. I was disappointed by Nelly. She had this great story about hers. Like her dad made these salted walnuts, and I'm just like, wow, she's going to make this into like a really wonderful. I find myself liking her more than I like her bakes, which is the exact opposite of Christian, whom I am always like pleasantly surprised by his bakes, but I really don't like him. Like for no reason, just because I'm a biased fucker. Like I can't stand his face, his style, his talking. Same with Samaya. I can't stand her voice. There's just things about people that drive me nuts, and unfortunately, for them, I guess maybe for me, they exist.
It happens.
Thanks for fucking with my life, Christian and Samaya. No, like Christian's spiced nut stroop waffles, as you were mentioning, looked beautiful, like genuinely beautiful. They didn't seem particularly technical, but to Prue's credit, she said, like, I couldn't resist buying one of these if I saw it in a shop. Yeah, because they look delicious and beautiful, not particularly technical, but good. But everyone else's seems like they were really swinging for something special, and only a few of them really hit it out of the park. But they all,
I was like,
by and large, looked good. I mean, I think one of them, Jill, with her Fruit Nut Millionaire caramel biscuit. I hate these names they give them because it doesn't really tell me what the image of it in my head is.
It's like the only reason I can remember is because I watched it last night. So it's like I'm vaguely remembering it.
The only reason why I remember it because she says northern portions over and over again.
Yeah, that's a fucking funny thing, man. It's like I guess it's because I'm a fat American. I'm like, yeah, no, that looks proper. And then they talk shit on it. Yeah. And then they eat it and they're like, this is amazing. Yeah. But it's too good. You shouldn't have a lot of good stuff because that's bad or something.
It's weird.
But yet, on the other hand, he's like, oh, this is too much, but this should be called the billionaire biscuit. Yeah. It's like, make up your fucking mind. Like, find your lane and stay in it, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. It's either delicious or get the fuck out of here and go home. Like, come on now. You fucking northern portions was my nickname in high school. Yeah. It's what I tried to get people to call my penis, but it never really stuck. Northern portions. Come on, baby. Just say it. No. All right, so let's get into this technical because Parataton tart. Oh my god.
Pear tart tatin.
Tartatan. Fuck me. Is no, but seriously, fuck me. Is like a delicious looking dessert I've seen Gordon Ramsay making on a bazillion different shows that he does. And it is one of those things where it all hinges on this is caramel week. It all hinges on the caramel and the execution of the caramel and whether you do it properly or not. Enter Noel wanting to play baseball.
Jesus fucking Christ. That shit. All right. So I don't remember what she placed. She wasn't at the bottom. She wasn't at the bottom at least. But oh my God, if it was any other challenge besides technical, that would have saved her. Because that is something that, like, we've seen accidents in the past where it was caused by someone else and they gave them extra time to make up for the damaged thing. So the fact that happened on Caramel Week on the fucking technical is just like, goo.
During like the final hour.
Yeah,
Like, it was the end.
It's over. It's done. Like, she literally just needs what she had made to finish the thing.
And she
that's
was
gone.
so gracious about it. Like, she
Oh,
was
man.
so beautiful about it.
But her fucking face was so goddamn red. Like, that was like, I'm married. You're married.
Yeah.
We understand that look of, I am trying to not have a nuclear meltdown right now and decimate this fucking country. I'm going to smile and be nice, but I'm going to kill you if anything happens again.
Yeah.
So much so that was a joke in the next one.
I have cameras in my face right now, so I'm not going to rip your face off now, but later it's coming.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was rough. Like, I'm sitting there, my roommate, my wife, we're just kind of shooting this shit while talking about this. It just went silent when that happened. We're like, oh! Like, you could have heard a fucking pin drop.
It was very much just like an escape of oxygen from the room because I just sucked it all up. It was like, oh,
yeah,
no. And he's like, you didn't need that, did you? And I'm just like, yeah, she fucking did. And she was like, yeah, I kind of did. It's okay. I'll start again. Because
that was the rest from her fucking, like, that was the topping. Because she already used the rest for the tartane
and the
fucking ice cream.
The ice cream, I'm sorry, yeah.
Dude,
and then when they compared the two, they're like, yeah, the ice cream's great, but the tartane, she did this one little eye look over. I was just like, I know what that is.
Oh, my God. Yeah, when it's like, oh, this would be great if it had more sauce. It's like, dude, don't even just fucking walk on by her shit. Don't say shit.
I would have just pointed a finger and just shouted, motherfucker!
Right, and that's the frustrating thing because it's technical. It has to be blind. And it's like, she would have done so much better.
Yeah.
If they had understood the issue. Because, like, the thing is, she still fucking came back like a goddamn hero and made more caramel sauce. It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But it was enough that there was at least something on it. So, like, I feel like if she hadn't actually made that, she would have been sitting in 8th place. And that would have been a travesty because it wasn't her fault.
I find myself really cheering for her, but I just don't see her bakes equaling the amount of hope I have for her.
I'm gonna be honest, like, after the technical, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna owe Adam $1. I thought she was going home today.
Oh shit.
Just because of how bad like the biscuits were they were rocks.
Yeah.
They were just dirt clods.
I mean, it looked like no bake cookies, but with caramel and walnuts.
Yeah.
Which sounds horrific.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the little artist rendition that they do in between, the introduction and so on, those look great. And on paper, everything sounded great, especially because of the backstory and all that shit. And yeah, those just came out looking like I could probably chuck that at somebody and get arrested for attempted manslaughter.
You definitely put him down for a minute.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. So the tartane seemed like it should have been pretty simple for these bakers at this point, but it really threw almost everyone for a loop.
Everybody fucked up.
I mean, even like second and first place, I didn't think were particularly great. It was better than everyone else's.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, it's like they're so weird with how they judge technicals. Like, some weeks when everybody shits the bed, they're just assholes about it. And then there's some weeks like this one where, quite frankly, like, Georgie was first. That's just because they couldn't have everybody as last. And they were, like, so nice about everything. Like, fucking Samaya's, that was burnt.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you expect to see a little brown on the top. It's like, no. Yeah. No, that's not brown. Brown is flavor. That is burnt.
It was rough. It was rough. I mean, caramel's a bitch anyway, and it's something that I'm terrified of trying. I've literally never tried it.
I've done it once, and it is the most nerve-wracking thing in the fucking world. I mean, fuck, you had it. I made an easy caramel, and it did not turn out well. It was so bad that my bake didn't even place.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't even get voted for.
Yeah, it didn't place. That's to be fair. It didn't. Who won that? My wife.
I think it was your nephew, because it was like a tie between your nephew and your wife. And quite frankly, like, your wife's chocolate cake. Well, I mean, you should.
Not at the same time.
I mean,
think it's weird.
You do what you got to do, man. I mean, no one's here to judge you.
Right.
Yeah, that chocolate cake. Whew.
All right, well, let's talk about the caramel mousse cake because some of these looked beautiful. And others, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude, I got to go back to Samaya just shitting the fucking bed. As soon as they sliced into that
was a nightmare.
That alone should have sent her home with how bad that was.
She put like she had to have put a ton of gelatin in that cover in order for it to, like, he sliced down, which looked beautiful, and then he tried to pick the knife back up and the entire top came off with it.
Yeah. Oh. And then just sprung right back. It's like, that's not good.
Terrible.
It blew my mind. Like, and really none of them, aside from Jill's, like Jill's really, like, that sounded dope as hell. Oh, like, yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for sticky toffee pudding. That looked beautiful.
I really thought Nellie's looked great. I mean, it was like artistic and delicate, very unlike what we've seen, especially in her first bake this week. And she, the whole time she was like, my husband's telling me to keep it simple, so I'm going to keep it simple. And I saw it, I was just
and then she
blown
didn't.
away.
That
well,
was
even, like, I thought it was in the realm of tasteful. You know, it wasn't like garish or anything.
That was a fucking wedding cake, if I've ever seen one. That is a modern,
100%.
elegant and delicate wedding cake.
Yeah.
It was fucking gorgeous.
And we juxtapose that next to Andy's lonely tree.
You know what?
He
fucking tried. And just one more thing where I have to talk shit on the British.
That tree.
Like, oh God, that flavor is atrocious.
Oh, that was awesome.
Bitch, it's fucking candy apple fucking cotton candy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what in the flying fuck is wrong with you?
That blew my mind. She was like, it's terrible.
Yeah. It's like, dude,
I've never heard her say that about anything before. And for her just to go out there and just like, you know what? This is the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth. And I lived through fucking, I was going to name like Studio 64 or something like that, but it just fucking eluded me. And I lived through Studio 64. Like, you're like, fuck. Like, you're an old lady. You had some fucking crazy times. You've done some weird shit. I know you have.
She has to have.
She's 100% got a dungeon. Like,
I believe it.
Like, she does some weird shit, and that's the worst that she's put in her mouth?
Well, and then the fact that, like, they're verbally filleting him over the cake, and then she's like, oh, that was terrible. It's like, just don't say anything. You're like, oh, that's so not for me.
So funny. I mean, first of all, I'm not a fan of cotton candy. I think it's ridiculous. It's like the most... I think it's stupid. I think kids like it because they're stupid. No grown human with an intellect likes cotton candy. And if you do, you're not a grown human with an intellect. You're just a grown human.
It's just the idea of it hurts my teeth.
It's ridiculous. And but to have that as like part of your showstopper, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It didn't even look good to me. Like, it looked ridiculous.
The thing. I understood the idea of it, but it's like he got to a point where he's like, the tree's good enough, and just left it. And it's like, dude, it would take like 4 or 5 more minutes to elongate those fucking stubby tongue depressor looking branches and just fan them out. Like, just heat it, stretch it with some pliers or something. Like, give it some finesse, not just like, here's a hunking chunk of isomalt and then cotton candy. It did look pretty bad.
Woof. It looked rough to me. And like, to be honest, like, the shine on the actual cake looked fine. And it tasted good, so awesome. But yeah, when he was molding that tree, I was just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, this looks horrible. Like, this is like a kid's science experiment or something. Is like foam and vinegar going to shoot out of it?
Right? It totally looked like dumb. That. All right, Chris. So I got to say Nelly, just because I want to fucking party with her. Like, there was a lot of booze at my wedding, like an ungodly amount of booze. I feel like that would have been dope as shit to have her bake the cake just to be there and get her fucked up.
Yeah. Like, she'd be fun. Oh, gosh. I bet Mike would be fun because he seems constantly willing to self-deprecate and tell jokes and be funny. And I like that aspect. It'd probably get annoying after the third drink. But, like, until then, you just be like, this guy's great.
I just think he would just cry the whole time. Like you get a second or third drink in him, it's just gonna be the fucking waterworks.
Oh, he's crying now. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
This guy is heartbroken. Yeah, when he did the Pollux joke, I was like, okay, that's witty. And then they like overreacted. I was like, all right.
They were losing their shit over that, and it's like that. Come on, guys, that's not that funny.
I get the joke. And then
like,
he did.
I was high. I should have been laughing my ass off, and I wasn't.
Yeah. He did his little. I need to come out, or I need him to come out. I'm gay, and that was like the punchline. I was just like, all right, that didn't land the way I think you thought it was going to be landing. Like, we know. It's not. And it's not like he's saying it to, like, let people know, because that's on his sleeve. So it's just him trying to make some, like, pathetic joke, and it, like, not. I felt like the camera gave him a lot more time today because he was going home.
Yeah, probably.
And I have nothing to base that off of at all. It's just like I felt like I saw a whole lot more of him this week, and I was okay with ruling. It's like, all right, I've had my fill. He can go now. Like, thank you for your time, but and I know you're a popcorn aficionado. I am not that big of a popcorn dude, and they were losing their fucking minds over that popcorn.
Dude, that was a fucking travesty. That looked like bird feed.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
I was like, oh, hell yeah, he's going to make a popcorn cake with fucking coffee? Yeah, that's for me. And then I see these bark-ass looking fucking sticks that I used to feed my parakeet, and it's like, he's going to feed that to people? What the fuck? And yeah, they're all losing their mind. It's like,
well, and then
have you guys
like,
never had
the best thing I've
before?
ever made before. They're like,
there's a reason why he fucking
really
went home. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was... Oh man, that looked so bad.
It was after that and his twice curdled moose that I was just like, this is your time, Holmes. Like, as bad as Samaya was, you inched it out. Like, you got it, man. And I'm glad. Like, the reality is Samaya has surprised me and the judges more importantly the judges, with what she's capable of doing.
As importantly, goddammit. We are the authority on this television show.
We are the only podcast that we know of.
Yeah, exactly.
We're an authority. Podcast that we don't listen to.
I feel like they should have us on as guest judges.
Oh, dude, that would be the best day
Oh, my
ever.
God. It would be so fucking awesome.
So much fun.
I would probably just stand in the corner and piss myself and cry.
I feel like it would just be us holding hands with Noel and jumping in a circle.
Probably.
Like, that's it for the whole time. This is really happening.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I want to.
Oh, it'd be a worthwhile experience, 100%.
Okay, I'll pay my way and everything.
He seems to be a bit of a close talker with his co-host, though. It didn't really like make me notice it or like, I don't know, stand out in my mind until this episode. But he's always like right there. I'm just like, I wonder if she's okay with that, because I wouldn't be. That's way too close. If I can smell your molars, you're way too close, Holmes.
Yeah,
just take a half step back.
I don't really have personal boundaries, but oddly enough, it's the speaking that close. That's what gets me.
Is it so is it the breath of the speaking?
I have no idea what it is.
Interesting.
I don't know what it is that bothers me.
Yeah.
It's just awkward.
You know, the bag that stood out to me that I was blown away that no one said anything spectacular about was Georgie's glass rose mirror. When she was pouring the red over it, I was just like, that's amazing. And then she puts the rose on. I was like, oh, wow, that's so beautiful. And it's a sort of, it's an old timey thing. It's like a film noir it's like a film, an Art Nouveau expressive type cake. You know, it's sort of garish and floral and just sort of out there with this sort of like 1920s elegance attached to it, which is not 2024 by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't think anyone in there would have really appreciated the sort of artistic flair that sort of evoked for the time, at least in my sort of, art history mind. But like, I was really bummed that no one made any note about how beautiful it was.
This tastes good. I don't understand it because like that the demi-glace, fucking perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was absolutely gorgeous. But the rose, like that was the most delicate like caramel work we had seen.
It looked like it should have been so dense it crushed the cake, but it floated on top.
Like it straight up looked like a glass rose.
Yeah.
Like a hand blown glass rose, even down to like the little extra leaves on it. Like that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And like they just blew over it. I mean, in the end she fucking won, but still it's like,
to be fair,
let's fillet this fucking cake for fuck's sake. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Georgie deserves a little bit of attention herself with the flating. You start with the cake, hit her, end with the cake. I mean,
I mean, it's got a hole in it. You just slap it down and go to town.
Oh man,
it's called multitasking, Adam.
That's true. Got a good point. This is why we come and watch this show and talk about it, because you always learn something new.
Yes.
Any of these other cakes sort of stand out to you?
No, not really. Like I said, just I mean, really, the Jill's was fucking great. Like I wanted Jill's. Like that looked like that. Aside from Georgie's, like that was the nicest looking one. I mean, of course, Nellie's was great, but it was like a subtle, beautiful cake.
Yeah.
Like Jill's was just, I'm going to celebrate everything caramel.
Yeah. And I mean, it was, first of all, it was on the nose, but it hit all of the notes needed. It was beautiful. I would like to do like a month of just hanging out with Jill in her northern portions and just like beefing up, and then do like a month of Rocky IV, prepping to fight even Drago.
Fucking have to do a month of Rocky IV. Jesus Christ.
It. But like, I bet you would never eat better. You would never feel more sort of like a proverbial food hug than spending time with Jill and her flatmate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I bet they are just the warmest. Like when I saw that hug that Jill and Mike had after she had helped him get his first signature dish ready, I was just like, I could like lose my body inside of her body. Like she would just hug me in like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and I would just be like, yay. It would be great.
Yeah, just assimilate. It's cool.
Just be the Borger. I don't know what that is. It would be like The Color Out of Space.
Mm-hmm.
Just bodies absorbing inside of bodies, but it like feels good, so you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd have to do the training of Rocky IV afterward. But
yeah, 100%.
Be a great month, like for sure. Your heart probably wouldn't be great. How is she alive, first of all? Like that's what I want to know. Northern portions. How are there northern people if that's how you eat every day?
Well, it's probably so cold that they have to eat that way to survive.
Just their body's burning so much calories just to keep warm from the cold. Yeah, that's, I don't know. So in the end, Mike, he had to go. It was his time. He's out of his depth. And Georgie won, which was earned 100%.
Yeah, she killed it this week.
I mean, it's between her and, like, realistically, Dylan and Christiane. Like, those are the three. Do you think those are going to be the final three? Or who's your final three right now?
The final three, Dylan, Georgie, Nellie.
Okay. I want that.
I really legit think that the wild card is Jill.
Like, really? Jill's your wild card?
Yeah. At this point, I mean, she fucking sucked at the technical.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, she killed it with everything else. I think she would have been placed much higher if she hadn't done so bad in the technical.
That's fair. She's always done pretty middling to fair. I have a fear that it's going to be my facial nemesis Christiane that's in the final with Dylan and Jill. I'm sorry, not Jill, Georgie. I really think Georgie and Dylan are final 200%. They just seem so good. But again, to your point, one bad week's all you need, and you're the fuck out. So
it's always like midpoint. It swaps. Yeah. So that's why I'm not like 100% set on it, because I think they do, or they will. But I was also thinking that with Samaya. Like the first 3 weeks, she was amazing.
Yep.
Like constant praise. She did get star
last week she did great.
Yeah, and it's like this week she just completely shit the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, surprising with her. She sort of like knows, like she's given us her best, but that's kind of all she's got.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like. I'm trying to think of who else could possibly surprise us and like step up. I just don't see Andy. He's just not.
I was just gonna say I really want to see Andy just like
It would
pull
be
his
an
head out of
upset
his
for
ass
sure, but I don't think he's that good. Like I just don't think he's compared to the other ones. He's just not the same caliber. Fuck, I want Nelly to be better. Oh, yeah. I think next to go home is gonna be Samaya, and then it's gonna get bloody. Like people are gonna really start being pissed.
See, I'll agree with Samaya, but I think it's going to be Samaya, then Ilian, either or for next week. I don't know which, but definitely, probably one of them. And then after those two are gone, then yeah, it's going to be.
That's actually a really good point. Ilian might be first because last week she sucked, and she almost quit like a week ago, and then she passed out. And this week, she hasn't really found her stride again. It's like she's, like fucking Rocky. She was knocked down. She doesn't really know if she can come back yet. She hasn't seen her old boxing coach, wrinkled ball sack that he is, telling her to grab a chicken. You can do it, Rock. Yeah, she hasn't seen that yet. And so she's like, oh, I'm going to fail. And she's like 90% gums anyway. So does that bother you at all?
Yes.
Like her ratio of teeth to gum in exposure. And this is like not just her. There's a whole population amongst us. I call them weird that exist along with other Homo sapiens. They're like all gum in their smiles.
Yeah, it's
what the fuck?
I would never open my mouth.
Yeah.
If that was me.
Or get something interesting tattooed.
Oh God.
Like what have you ever tattooed gums or anything?
No, I've tattooed lips.
Okay.
Like
lips or lips?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
No, I haven't.
You got to use your foot to hold it open.
But I mean, I've had to pierce them before.
Right.
Different ones where it was a, forehand job type of thing.
Forehand. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I got 4 hand jobs out of it.
I was like, wow, that's a hell of a payment system you got going on in your shop. How do you make
that's when you flip the piercing price list the other direction. It tells you what you need to do to pay for them without cash. Yeah, no, I've never done gums. I don't know if I honestly could. I've got such a thing about teeth that I feel like if I was to set my machine down, the fucking second I feel that vibration go into my hand from the resistance of the bone, I would probably vomit on them.
Oh no!
So,
and their mouth's naturally open, so
yeah,
they're taking.
I mean, it'd be their own fucking fault, and I'd probably warn them before.
You asked for this. Sign this. I'm okay to be vomited on voucher here. Contract.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I could do gums. I've seen people do it before.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, I don't know. It is weird for sure. No, Chris, is the answer to that. That is not the same. Picking up shoes off the floor and having a Rocky workout. Not the same. Close enough. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I thought I had a really good time this episode. I feel like Nellie's pushing, justifiably so, pushing him away. But I feel like maybe he's getting a little bit like, but I was your number one, and now you're pushing me away. Just 2 episodes ago, you were chasing me around the room. Right.
This was the flip side to that coin.
Yeah.
This was him chasing her.
What did you think about Dirty Dancing? Where Nellie and what's her name? Allison. Nellie and Allison did the whole Dirty Dancing jump thing. You remember that?
I must have missed that part when I was making myself.
It was very quick. But they were like making some sort of like joke about doing something. She's like, yeah, I dance. Like, what about Dirty Dancing? She's like, well, who? You're going to catch me? I'm going to catch you. And so Nellie like ran toward Allison, and Allison did her best to try to pick her up, which didn't happen. And they just sort of basically just hugged each other and giggled. But it was the funniest attempt, like imagining those two people doing that dance is the most absurd notion. And if she would have picked her up, it would have been, and I'm not trying to be mean, it would have been just like the Fantasia sequence of the alligator holding up the hippo to that classical dance sequence. It would have been hilarious. Like there would be no ending gifs.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have to watch it again because I think that was when I stepped out to make some tea.
Oh man, it was my favorite part of the whole episode.
God damn it! Yeah,
I'm like, are they gonna do it? There's no way they're gonna do it. Oh fuck, are they gonna do it? Okay, well that's clearly how it would end, but it was awesome. It was a rush of emotions. All right, people, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think we've got it covered.
Hot and sweaty. Favorite bake, least favorite bake? Did anything like stand out? Like
I said, man, that sticky toffee mousse cake, like that just looked fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Least favorite, I mean, there was just a lot that just didn't look good.
I really wanted to try that tarte tatin. Those looked.
I fucking hate pears.
Oh, really?
So I wanted nothing to do with any of that.
Really? Why?
It's like if somebody was like, here's an apple, but I leached all the flavor out of it. Oh, also I dropped it on the beach.
Oh,
but I didn't rinse off. Like it's grainy and bland.
What fucking pears are you eating?
I don't know, but man, I'm not a fan.
Oh, man, if I just like come hunting you down one day, it's because I found the perfect pear and I want to share it with you.
I mean, I'll eat it.
A good pear is good.
Like I'll eat it, but I have never once been like, this was wonderful.
Yeah, Chris, I agree. The flying saucer one looked delicious, and it was sort of challenging. And you know what? I would like to try Samaya's bake.
Yeah, man, those bake. Yeah, her biscuits look pretty dope.
Those look pretty awesome. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. Did you have a favorite bake? Let us know in the comments below. And if there's someone that drives you absolutely nuts, besides us, of course, on this show, let us know. Maybe we can connect with a little bit of frustration or discover other people's frustration. You know, it's part of the fun of life.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, as always, remember the evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there, bake a little bit of goodness, and be evil.
Yay. Yay. Evil.
I'm going to pay someone to fart this theme song.